Discovery Show podcast. As always, recording on a Monday, and we have a bunch of stuff ready. So let's get into it straight away.
Yeah, first we're going to start with the story of the week, which is more like a couple of short stories this time. So we're just going to.
And where'd you get it from?
Oh, I found them on creepypastas and Reddit and 4chan,
Yeah.
all the good places you can go. If you're looking for scary stuff, you know, there's heaps of subreddits you guys can look at.
All the base sites.
Yeah, pretty much. Got a couple of them, so I can we just fucking go through them.
Yeah.
And talk about them, see what we think of them. The first one they call it the businessmen.
The businessman.
Yeah, the businessmen.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah. So this guy who goes to work every day, he follows a direct route. This is where he goes every single morning, every day.
Mm-hmm.
This one route. And he decides...
Is he driving?
No, he's walking. So
Okay.
he's walking down his path. In a big city. So there's multiple different routes you can go. He always goes the same route. And then one day he decides not to. Just an urge to go a different direction,
Okay.
different route. And on this new route, he turned down an alley that he's never seen before.
Uh-huh.
In the city, he's lived in the city for 12 years. He goes to work every day there. He lives in the city, right? Seen this alley he's never seen before on the way to work. And he's going down this alleyway on this new urge to go in a different direction to work. And about halfway through the alley, he stops and his mind scrambles and he has like head fog. And he can't move and he can't do anything and he feels like he's semi-conscious, floating like out of his body almost. And then all of a sudden an array of different colours and shapes come into his view, and it's almost like he's in a new dimension of sorts. And he has no control of his body at all. And then you notice multiple businessmen in suits. That's what they resembled.
Okay.
Walk towards him. And one of them does a quick... They're almost scared that he can see them.
Okay, yeah.
And one of them does a quick movement and everything goes black. And he wakes up. And he wakes up in the alley again. And he has about 10 different missed calls. From family, work, heaps of people.
Yeah.
And he's realised he's been out cold for 12 hours.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's it.
Okay, that story sucked. That was it.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
This shit story made no sense. So this guy changes his path and then he sees some businessmen and then he gets knocked out and that's it.
Well, the whole thing is he thinks he's like... went into a different dimension.
But he might have just been dreaming and imagining it.
That's true. You reckon he just got knocked out?
Yeah, I think he probably just got hit his head on something, like got knocked out and then dreamt the whole thing. But his next story's better be better than that.
Let's hope so,
I'm
man.
waiting for some interesting twist. Alright.
Do you reckon it's bullshit?
Huh?
You reckon it's bullshit?
Yes. Well, no. That one is actually, like, plausible. Like, if you got knocked out, maybe you would, like...
See some shit.
Yeah, or dream about something weird. But, like, as far as a fun, entertaining story goes...
Well, hopefully the next ones are better.
Well, hit me with the next one then.
Alright. Let me just bring it up here.
Alright, I'm giving that story a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10?
Yeah, it gets 1 point because it's sort of realistic, and the other point because it sounded like it was going to go somewhere exciting and then it didn't.
You just woke up.
Alright, let's go.
Alright. So this story is about a loss of time thing.
A loss of time.
And it's about a couple who... Oh, wait a second. Yeah, it's about a couple who are woken up by a loud fight in their room.
Uh-huh.
Like imagine you're sleeping and you see a massive bang, like a TV falling over or a box on your cupboard slamming on the ground. Massive. And it wakes them both up. And at first they're like, oh, what the hell? There's nothing wrong. Nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm.
They think maybe the kids have fallen out of bed. They run upstairs. Kids are fine. The dad goes around, checks the house. Everything seems normal. Knocks on the neighbour's door at one point. They don't hear anything. Goes outside. Tells the wife to stay inside. Goes outside and checks around. Nothing's wrong. Checked everything is alright. Checked the doors, windows. And then after about 10 minutes of investigating the noise, like inside the house and outside the house, nothing unusual. He went back to bed. And his wife is there and looks pale as hell. And he's like, oh my god, where have you been? And he's like, what do you mean? I was just checking outside.
But so he heard a bang, he goes looking around what's going on, and then he comes back and his wife's all freaked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's saying, where the hell did you go? What happened? And the man said he just found nothing outside. Like, everything's alright, nothing's wrong. And then she says, you've been away for 4 hours. It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And he just went outside to check if everything was alright. And they were unable to figure out what happened to him.
Yeah.
And so they just returned to bed. Oh, fuck this story as well.
Does it have the same ending?
Kind of.
What is with these? We're never using this side again.
Nah, we're not.
Okay, well that sucked. What about 2-sentence stories? Boot up one of them.
Alright.
Let's do a cool...
Alright, let's go through a couple of them. Actually, I just found plenty
At
right
least
now.
these are actually a bit creepy.
Yeah.
Alright, hit me with one.
This is a classic.
Yeah.
There was a picture in my phone of me sleeping. I live alone.
Yeah, that's a classic one.
That's a good one.
My favourite one that I heard is there's nothing like the laughing of a little child. Unless it's 2 a.m. and you live alone.
Alright. My sister says that mummy killed her. Mummy says I don't have a sister.
Wait, hang on a minute. My sister said that.
My sister says that
yeah.
mummy killed her.
Well,
Mummy says I don't have a
I
sister.
get it.
You hear your mum calling you into the kitchen. As you're heading down the stairs, you hear a whisper from the closet saying, "Don't go down there, honey. I heard it too." Ooh, that's a good one, eh?
That's a good one.
What was... Right. Oh, the last thing I saw was my alarm clock flashing 12:07 before she pushed her long, rotting nails through my chest. Her other hand muffled my screams. I sat bolt upright, relieved it was only a dream, but as I saw my alarm clock, it read 12:06. I heard my closet door open.
Okay, that wasn't 2 sentences, so that's cheating.
Yeah.
How hard is it, people?
How do you, can you come up with one, like, on the spot?
On the spot, yeah, okay. Alright, we gotta come up, it's like freestyle rapping, we gotta come up with a 2-sentence story on the spot.
Yeah.
Alright, let me think. Alright, here's one, which is a bit of a similar experience to what one of my friends mentioned once. So me and my 3 friends were walking through a park at night. Our 5 shadows stretched in front of us, lit from the street light that was behind us. Ooh.
Imagine that, bro. Imagine being that scenario.
Yeah, because I was walking with 3 of my friends, and our shadows were in front of us like that. And one of my and it was like real creepy in the middle of winter at night.
Yeah.
We were up on the Central Coast. There's no one there. It was like a ghost town, and we're just walking because we're making a sparkler bomb on the beach, and it took like 3 hours to get it to work. And then we finally did it. And then we're walking back and there's a street light behind us and you see our 4 shadows. And then one of my friends is like, how creepy would it be if there was just a 5th shadow that just appeared next to us? Like, I don't even put those thoughts in my head.
That'd be creepy as hell, man. It's like that Doctor Who episode. When you're in the library,
Yeah.
if you have more than one shadow, you're like done. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna die. And
Yeah.
have like the skeleton in the suits and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a cool episode.
Yeah, that was freaky.
That was one everyone forgets because Weeping Angels was so much more scary. Yeah, anywho.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to the weekly focus?
Oh, we can pump a couple more of these.
Okay, you want to do some more shorts?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, let's
I've got
hit me
a
with
couple.
the 2-sentence stories.
My daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night. I visit her grave and ask her to stop, but it doesn't help.
That's a bit weird.
That was a freaky one to me, mate. I wake up and everything feels wrong. It's too quiet outside. I look out the window and see everyone standing still, looking at my house.
Ooh,
Imagine that.
that is weird. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Because we've had like, I've had someone in my front yard before,
Yeah.
like a homeless bloke, but
Yeah.
even that was freaky.
Yeah. Imagine a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Alright. Hit me with another one.
Growing up with cats and dogs, I got used to the sounds of scratching at my door while I slept. Now that I live alone, it is much more unsettling.
All half of them are just I live alone. Something other than I live alone.
Yeah. Oh, this one. Working the night shift alone tonight. There's a face in the cellar staring at the security camera.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
I would hate to do that. Yeah.
Man, any like night graveyard shifts anywhere.
Yeah.
I think any place in the whole world, as soon as it goes night
Can be
and
scary.
empty,
Yeah.
it can be scary as shit.
Yeah. Even if it's like Times Square.
Yeah,
Even though
man.
Times Square obviously isn't empty at
But
night.
imagine if
but
all the
like,
lights were off.
and it was empty.
It was empty.
Anywhere is scary. Yeah.
Anywhere can be terrifying.
Mm.
Like arcades at
Yeah.
night
Yeah.
are terrifying. You know?
Yeah. You work at arcade. That
Yeah,
thing
that's
is
had a couple of
creepy
weird
at night,
experiences. Yeah. I'll tell one. So, it has long been believed that everyone that worked at this arcade, that the place was haunted, and games would turn on automatically. You hear people in the store when everything's closed, like all this kind of stuff. And I've had 2 experiences, and both are pretty much the same experience. But when I'm closing a shift at midnight, because we're open with the movie cinema next to us, we close really late that night. We close at midnight, and so what you do is you go into the power board, you switch off all the games, and everything shuts down. The whole arcade goes quiet. So I did that, and then I did my report, which takes about 15 minutes about how the day and all the money stuff came out, all the money. Walk outside, walking towards the door. Everything's closed by this point. Walking towards the door, then 3 games in the back just turn on.
Oh.
Just like that. And I just stop. I'm like, what the hell? There's no way that just happened. So I go back into the office, check to make sure one of the games things was turned. It was off, and it was off. So I just turned it back on and then off again. Maybe it was like short circuited or something. And I was like,
Yeah.
alright, everything seemed fine. Walking outside again, happened again.
No.
The three machines and I'm like, nah, I'm not messing around with this, and I just left. Out of there, it's like, probably the fastest I've ever moved in my life. I just went straight to the door. I'm like, out of here. And like, I messaged like our group being like, if it opens up tomorrow, there might be 3 games on.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
and then apparently there weren't any games on in the morning.
So switched them off.
Switched them off. And then
Sheesh.
another day, similar, but this was when I was coming in the morning, which is honestly scarier than closing. Because when I'm closing, I'm leaving. Like, I'm just getting out of it. But in the morning, if I opened up the shop, walked in, and it's like maybe 5 different games are on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no. There's just a sinking feeling in my gut.
You can't run away.
Because I opened it up and it was just like, oh crap. And so I was like hoping someone had come in. And I was like, well, I'm just going to go to the office. Just want to show the office, walk past the game, go to the office. And then no one's there. I'm like, oh crap. Go to the board, everything's turned off. I'm like, oh god. So I turn everything on, quickly around the front, open the doors. I'm like, alright, everything's good.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple stuff like cameras turning off and on in the middle of the night randomly. We had one where we were trying to find, because we think people like try to sneak in and rob us.
Yeah.
So we're going through the security footage at night, and all of a sudden, one of the cameras goes like white, just like straight, just white. I'm like, oh my god, what was that? And so we did timed it so it was very slow, and you can see this like a white bulbish kind of thing. Do you know like when you see a spirit, sometimes it can be like a ball?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
Yeah, we saw that in the arcade, and it goes into the camera basically.
Yeah.
And then disappears.
Huh.
So that was.
Whoa.
Those are the two of the couple of experiences.
That is pretty
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place is interesting. Anywho, onto the weekly focus. Speaking of round white balls, full moons.
The moon.
How about that for a transition? So, full moons are traditionally associated with insomnia, insanity, and various magical phenomena such as lycanthropy. And I had to Google what that was, and that means turning into a werewolf. So apparently that's actually got a proper name, lycanthropy.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't it mean like just turn to any animal?
Well, I looked up lycanthropy and it specifically said werewolf.
Right.
So werewolves have been a part of European folklore since around 1150. So that was kind of the first, I mean, possibly predated that, but
Wow,
that was the first kind of recorded bit of history that kind of spoke about something that seemed to be a werewolf. And everyone's heard of like old witch trials, like, you know, when they, you know, decided that a woman was a witch because they needed someone to blame for like a bad crop season or something. One thing you don't often hear about is that there were also werewolf trials. So males were put on trial who were believed to be werewolves.
did they burn them up?
I don't know, I couldn't really find much information, but it just kind of said that werewolves, I mean, I assume so, because that's what they did for the witch trials. So if someone was accused
well,
of
apparently they didn't. Apparently there weren't any burnings. It was more just them getting hung.
Yeah, well, same thing. Probably killed them. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah. And so the full moon, obviously, it's kind of one of those things like Friday the 13th, where some people say it's a more crazy kind of day, and some people say it isn't. But there was actually a study done. And I'll read this little thing to you. The incidence of crimes reported to 3 police stations in different towns, one rural, one urban, one industrial, was studied to see if it varied with the day of the lunar cycle. The period of the study covered 1978 to 1982. The incidence of crimes committed on full moon days was much higher than all the other days. New moon days and 7th day after the full moon and new moon. A small peak in the incidence of crimes was observed on new moon days, but this was not significant when compared with crimes committed on the other days. The incidence of crimes on equinox and solstice days did not differ significantly from those on other days, suggesting that the sun probably does not influence the incidence of crime. The increased incidence of crime on full moon days may have been due to human tidal waves caused by the gravitational pull of the moon. So a lot of people, it's kind of linked with astrology as well, where people kind of say that the planets influence human energy, and that's obviously a debated topic. But I think if you understand that all atoms are made up of energy, and you can feel a person's energy, the energy they're vibrating. Think of the size of a freaking planet. How many atoms that's got in it. You don't think that's emitting any kind of energy? Hello? It's kind of actually more logical to think about it that way. So with moons, kind of the idea is that when there's more light on the moon, more energy, it's emitting more energy. And as the moon is kind of seen as the opposite of the sun is kind of seen as good energy, the moon is potentially seen as bad energy. When the bad energy is stronger, people commit more crimes. That's just a hypothesis that might be not true, but that's kind of
it's interesting though that
it kind of
the study shows that it kind of does.
And it kind of, I'm sure you could point to a study that shows it doesn't, but that was an unbiased study. They just in some, I think it was English, they just showed a bunch of places and there was no other real difference in any other days or significant lunar or solar events. It was just when it was a full moon. And you got to think as well with...
There's definitely...
Sorry, we just had to cut that. Okay. So the thing about the whole energy of the moon and the moonlight and stuff, I think it actually... it's just a theory, but it adds
there's
up.
Definitely something about the full moon and stuff happening on the full moon.
Oh, because one thing I was going to say is, because obviously the werewolf is like mythology, right? Mythology is usually a story that aims to explain actual things happening. That it's not meant to necessarily be taken literally, but it's meant to depict a particular type of situation. And so the werewolf might just represent man's bad side or man's evil side coming to light when there is a full moon. Alright, we just got something going in the background, but we'll do a noise reduction, so it'll be okay. I don't even know if the mic will pick it up that much, but yeah, so I think what I was saying was that the werewolf kind of represents the human bad side that kind of comes out potentially during a full moon, so it's not necessarily the idea that a human literally turns into a werewolf, but that it turns into a kind of an evil creature that isn't really what it's supposed to, be about. It's your Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing.
Yeah.
The bad side who comes out. And so another interesting thing I thought was that the moon cycle is potentially linked to menstrual cycles, because a lot of people say you get a full moon once a month, you get a period once a month. Not actually true. They're both 28 days. So you get 13 of them a year, as opposed to the 12 a year. So theoretically, it's 13 periods a year, and there are 13 full moons a year, not 12. And a lot of people say that old calendars, which we used, were all 13 months because, moon, month, right? It's the same kind of thing. And it was like, there were 13 of the year. So a 12-month calendar doesn't actually make much sense, especially because, and if you think about it, it's even more retarded because some of the months are 31 days, some are 30, and one's 28, and every 4 years is 29. So it obviously hasn't been divided up well. Like, they've obviously screwed that up.
What do you reckon caused that?
I don't know.
Just dumb.
I don't know.
It's a bit stupid.
I mean, you could say that maybe they didn't want us looking at the moon too much. Maybe just some stupid people wanted it done a certain way. I don't get what would be wrong with just doing the moon cycle. 13 months. First moon cycle, call it January. Second one, call it February, and just add a 13th month. It makes so much more sense because then every month would be 28 days.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm doing the maths wrong. I don't know, but it seems to add up a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we're completely off there and we sound stupid. Maybe there is a proper reason for the 12 months and the different days and everything, but it just, I don't know, it seems stupid. And then we couldn't talk about the moon without talking about a fake moon landing. So we both proponents that the moon landing was probably fake.
Or parts of it were.
Or maybe they landed on the moon,
Crazy.
but the film looks fake as.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in the air. There's some saying that no one's ever been to the moon, full stop. There's some saying they went to the moon after they said they did to beat the Russians in the space war.
Yeah.
There's some saying they tried to and just failed multiple times. There's some saying they did but couldn't film on the moon, so they just filmed it on Earth.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
There's a lot about it, and I think it's just strange that there's a lot about it. Why isn't it Why isn't it just one fact? Instead of multiple different things.
The thing that doesn't make sense is that they could do it in 1969 but can't do it in 2020. That does not make any sense. Also, the footage looks fake, and I think you could trick people with that in 1969 because obviously people weren't privy to the ideas of Photoshop and things like that, but they kind of are now. And so, the whole ripple in the flag kind of thing and everything like that. I mean, you can go on forever. No one knows for certain. Even some conspiratorial-minded people think, no, it actually was real, and some are 100% sure it wasn't. But I just want us to touch on that because it would feel like, we are the Paranormal Discovery Show. We like to think about things and go a little bit deeper.
We're talking about the moon, we definitely have to talk about that.
Yeah. And it's not hurting anyone. If you're offended by people, discussing whether the moon landing might have been fake or not, I think you just need to get your priorities sorted.
Definitely. Yeah. I just searched up why there aren't 13 months in a year.
Okay.
And apparently it has to do with the days around the sun.
What do you mean the days around?
So apparently it says that it doesn't fit exactly into the rotation of the Earth around the sun.
Well, yeah, but
by 1 day.
By 1 day. So you could have had 127 day month or 129 day month.
Yeah.
But instead that's
the reasoning behind it.
So we're 1 day off.
Except for Ethiopia. Ethiopia has a 13th
Oh, well,
month
that's
calendar.
smart. That's smart. See right there. Okay, 13 months doesn't fit around the sun perfectly. It's off by 1 day. So instead we'll use a 12-month calendar and we'll change all the days of all the months.
Yeah.
And have it make no sense when we could just have 1 day. I don't know if it's 1 day too short or 1 day too long. Wait, do 28 times 13. 28 times 13 is
364.
364. Okay, so have the last month 29 days.
Yeah, have
and
an
that's
extra
it.
day, it's fine. Instead of having every month from different
30
days.
Because
So
it's
just- yeah.
like, is this month 30 or 31 days? Oh, it's a leap year, so now we have a whole nother day of the year in February. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
That is so retarded. Oh, we don't have 13 months because it doesn't fit around a full Earth cycle of the sun. So we'll have 12 and we'll make it even, make even less sense.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, we've gotten to the bottom of that. It's like Dwight says in The Office. He wishes he could menstruate so he could be more in touch with the moon and the tides and not have to use stupid man-made calendars. Dwight is so based, and he's right.
He's a G.
Yeah, so I think the full moon thing, a lot of people, I've actually listened to someone who did like professional strongman, and he said he always hit personal bests on full moons. He would train at night on a full moon and he would always be a little bit stronger.
I think there's definitely something about there's different energy in the world on
Yeah.
the full moon. Everything related to the full moon is also almost, there's some heaps of paranormal stuff related to the full moon, like
Yeah.
spirits and ghosts are more
Werewolf,
attuned
yeah.
to come out on a full moon, like stuff like that. You said you're more likely to do bad things on a full moon.
Well, and I think it makes sense as well, because with more light energy coming from, light is energy, light is a frequency, like it's a hertz. So if there's more of it coming off the moon and
Yeah.
hitting the earth, then there's
Yeah.
a different amount of energy hitting the earth. And you could say, oh, but that energy has no effect on humans. Well, do we know that? Like, can you prove that? You know? We don't know that at all. So, I guess, I don't know, it's just one of those things, like, does that make any sense to you?
Mm.
It adds up.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's also a lot of most ancient cultures have a
if
a
all
ritual
ancient cultures had
about
something
the
about
full moon. Yeah, they
full
all
moon,
had something about it.
they probably noticed something because they didn't
Yeah.
care about this like scientific
Yeah.
rationalism.
Exactly. Why wouldn't a half moon mean?
Yeah,
That's like the same thing. You know?
yeah,
It's always full moons.
yeah. They always meant something, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there are probably similar ideas to werewolves in other cultures as well, where the people would turn into something on a full moon, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like a lot of witches and things would do their spells under full moons, and like
yeah. Everything is. I think there's a lot of energy given out from a full moon.
it has to. That
It
it
has
just
to
makes
be.
sense. Once you understand energy, you understand the whole concept.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
I think I might have just convinced myself that full moons actually do make an impact, because just the whole energy thing just makes sense.
Yeah. And when you're out on a night and you notice a full moon, there's almost just a different sense about it all.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you look at the moon, you're like, oh, it's a full moon. Like, oh.
And it's like what Eddie Bravo said, where he reckons there was, and I've tried this myself, and I feel like I can notice it, but I don't know if I'm just imagining it. The light in the moon is actually colder than no light from the moon. So if the moon is bright enough to cast a shadow, and you stand in the moonlight, it's actually colder than when you stand in the shadow, which also doesn't really make sense that it's a reflection from the sun, because some people think the moon kind of gives off its own light, and like I don't really know, I don't have an opinion on that, but
Yeah.
you would think if it was a reflection from the sun, it would be warmer, right?
Mm.
You'd think
But
it'd actually
would-
be kind of hot. Like if you had a really, really hot light and a mirror, and you shone it off
Yeah.
the mirror onto something, that would be hot where it
Yeah.
hit.
But would he be warmer under a shade of somebody else, because that's almost like a shelter?
Yeah,
as well, like
potentially.
just a bit of heat, you know,
Traps a bit of heat, yeah.
from the
I don't know.
elements.
I wanted to experiment on it, but I
I
stood
reckon
under
it'd be-
the shade of
yeah.
a tree, and the tree was fairly high up. Like it wouldn't, and I feel like I did notice a tiny difference, but I don't know if
I reckon you have to do a lot of different scenarios and experimentation with that to find a definitive answer. But it's definitely weird.
But it definitely, I can say it definitely wasn't warmer. In the moon.
Yeah.
Like if anything,
Yeah,
it was
for
just
sure.
the same. So, which doesn't make a lot of sense if it's just reflection off the sun. Not saying it isn't, probably is, but like, why isn't it warm then? You know. And another thing I don't get, because they say the moon is a half moon or whatever is caused by like the shadow of the earth, and that makes sense when it's like a crescent. But what about when it's like a 3/4 moon?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
there's still a tip. Yeah.
like make a circle with your fingers, and I'm sorry, like we can't put this on video. We will soon. But when it's like a small crescent, it kind of makes sense because it's got like a circle-shaped shadow on it.
Yeah.
But what about when it's like that part and all this is bright, you know? Where it's a 3/4 moon. How's that the shadow from the earth? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, maybe pull that up. How is a 3/4 moon a shadow?
3/4 moon.
Yeah, because that doesn't make any sense. Because you'd think it would just be like a really big crescent, and then the crescent would just get smaller, and then eventually there'd be no moon. But it doesn't work that way. It like folds itself over. Which, if the Earth, you know, is a ball, and it's casting a shadow from the sun, how the hell does it make that shape? Have you got anything?
I'm just looking at some stuff now. I'm just looking at pictures.
Yeah. Full moon picture. I mean, wait, no. 3/4 moon picture.
I got one here with the Earth showing how it makes the different shadows. Actually,
Okay. How does it then?
have a look at that.
Wait, let me try to find. It's gonna be hard to explain because we don't have audio.
Visual.
I mean, yeah, because we don't have visual. Alright, how about this? If you know the answer, comment it or send us something like, you know, just comment if you know the answer because we got some photos but we don't really know how accurate or whatever they are. Yeah. But do you want to move on to the discovery of the week?
Yeah, we'll get to one of our last sections. And today I want to talk about, actually, it's kind of a sad discovery.
Yeah.
Because a recent discovery in Australia has found an Aboriginal site estimated to be 46,000 year old site in Western Australia. Probably one of the oldest things.
44,000 BC.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy amount of time. And what they found there is, I'll just bring it up here real quick.
And one thing interesting about that is a lot of people say like the Sumerians, the Egyptians were kind of the first people like around 6,000 years ago. But it's like
Aboriginal culture.
No, I know, but I'm just saying they say people just kind of appeared about 6,000 years ago. It's like, well, that's obviously bullshit because this is 46,000 years old. So all that stuff Graham Hancock says about like how the Sphinx is actually 12,000 years old, and people are like, oh no, it couldn't be 12,000 years ago because people have only existed for like 6,000 years.
Here's proof that they...
So yeah, that's what's kind of interesting because, like I just kind of said, we just had to do another cut in the recording.
Sorry about this, guys.
So I forgot where I was up to, but like I said, the whole idea that it's crazy conspiracy theory to believe like that the Sphinx is 12,000 years old. Well, if there's Aboriginal sites that are 46,000 years old, then it's not actually. Yeah. You know, it makes perfect sense.
I think it might be the oldest, like, human culture site
that we know about.
Because
interesting.
I know it's been said for a while that the Aboriginal culture is the oldest living human culture.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. Although they say the first humans originated in Africa. Yeah,
but they went for a bit of a walk.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. But if you know, Australia's pretty far away from Africa. So, just the kind of idea that, like, how old must the first humans have been?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think this 6,000 year idea is just a load of crap. Like, anyone that's honest and looks at a site like Göbekli Tepe knows that that's just not true.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also, like, humans existed way more than 46,000 BC.
Possibly,
because of cavemen, they were around
Neanderthals,
you know, they existed at the same time period for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird with this missing link weird shit.
Yeah.
Like, where's the missing link?
Yeah.
Surely if you have evidence of different human species, you'd find this missing link at some point.
What do you mean, the missing link between
Neanderthal and
Neanderthals and
human?
Well, I think they just bred together.
Well, but the you know the idea of the missing link though.
Kind of.
The Neanderthal and human.
Neanderthal.
I can't say it. You know
Neanderthal.
Neanderthal. The difference is too great to happen like that.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no evolutionary path between the two.
Oh, okay. So it would have had to have gone back way further for them to have a common ancestor, which we still don't know about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the missing link is.
Yeah.
And there's been evidence of some, like there's the Lucy girl. Have you heard of Lucy?
No, that's a fraud.
That's a fraud. Is Lucy a fraud?
I've heard. That's what I've heard. So apparently, Lucy was the. So here's the thing. All right, let's get a bit controversial for a second because this really triggers me. So apparently, there's millions and millions and millions and millions of years of evolution to humans that we have today. But the only thing they've ever found is one skeleton or fossil of a girl, and they called her Lucy. If it happened over millions of years, there should be millions of fossils, right? But there isn't.
And there's just this one.
Unless I'm missing something. I'm open to anything. That's the whole point. That's kind of my thing. I'm open to anything. But there's only this one girl, and apparently it's more or less been proven that she was just like a very small early human or a Neanderthal or something like that.
Yeah.
And she wasn't actually halfway between like
the ape and the human.
An ape and a human. Yeah. And she was just a small Neanderthal. Like there was wasn't and because it doesn't make sense. Why can you only find one?
Yeah, exactly. When you find evidence of Neanderthals and humans.
Yeah.
For millions and millions of years.
Why can't you find heaps of fossils that show the perfect progression? I mean, maybe you can in like some cases, but what, you've only found one, even though it was millions of years long? That doesn't really make any sense.
Interesting.
But I don't know, maybe we're wrong. Like, I'm open to anything. I don't reserve any opinions. I just say it how I see it because it's what we're about here on the Paranormal Discovery Show.
Always open to new ideas.
Yeah. And if sometimes the old ideas were right, then that's how it is.
So, back to this Aboriginal site.
Yeah.
It was found in Western Australia in the, I don't know if I'm saying this right, is the Hamersley Range in Gukan Gorge. Mm-hmm. And what they found there, besides just, there's signs of continuous human occupation during this time, 46,000 years ago, during the Ice Age.
Yeah, okay.
So people lived in these caves for ages and ages and ages, a long time. And what they found there is plaited human hair from different strands of humans, and they did DNA testing. I don't know how accurate this is, and direct ancestors of the Aboriginal groups are in that area. Yeah. So, 100%, this is like a massive cultural and historical site. Yeah. And what has happened recently is that Rio Tinto,
the mining company,
probably the biggest one in Australia.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably must be. It's a giant company. Yeah. And Australia has so many natural resources, so they're turning billions every year.
So in this gorge, there's a lot of iron. I think. Yeah. Heaps and heaps of iron. Over 100 million tons of iron is removed from the range every year. Sheesh. So that's a lot of iron. Yeah. But recently, in this year, on the 24th of May, Rio Tinto blasted the site and the
No.
caves surrounding it
Oh,
to
yeah.
make a new mine. So something so historical and heaps of cultural artifacts and like sacred objects just gone.
46,000-year-old site. Blown
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and they didn't even need consent, they just needed to just go do it.
It didn't even need far out. And
Crazy.
because there's not like a temple there or something, people are like, oh, it doesn't matter. But like, no, cave paintings and stuff are important. Like, there's a reason we don't understand our history that well.
Yeah.
We really have no idea where we came from. And things
Yeah.
like this just make it even harder to know.
100%, and it kind of makes you think maybe it's just not trying to get the iron, maybe they're just trying to like
Trying
Yeah.
to keep us in the dark.
you know, 100%.
And yeah.
So that's our just a discovery we wanted to talk about this week. Because there wasn't any new ones.
No, there's
They were
not
fine.
much. I mean, a new discovery, big discovery every week is pretty tough. So
Yeah.
but that shit like this happens a lot.
Yeah,
And it's,
and especially with how the world is going now,
yeah.
the world's not focused too much on trying to discover new things,
Yeah.
which is fine.
I mean, there's always going to be stuff out there.
Yeah,
And one day we're going to make a discovery and it's going to feature at this section.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, want to go on to the quote of the week?
Yeah, let's just do it.
So my quote of the week is from the movie The Wolfman. Even a man who is pure of heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfsbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. And so what I mean about that is, why I think that's interesting is because it relates to what I was saying earlier about the full moons, where it's kind of like, even if you're a good person, you have that evil side to you. And it's like the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you know. If you've seen Harry Potter, you know how Professor Lupin was a really good person, but he was also a werewolf. And it
Yeah.
kind of shows the dual nature of man, you know, the sun and the moon, the good and the bad. And then even if you're a good person, your werewolf can come out at night if it's in a full moon.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it. My one is, there is something haunting in the light of the moon. This is by Joseph Conrad, who is a very famous writer
Yeah.
back in 1800s, 1900s.
Bit like a Edgar Allan Poe kind of figure,
Yeah.
I think. I don't know much about Joseph Conrad, admittedly. But yeah, I like it.
I say he's an early modernist, so very progressive in his time. He wrote a lot about one of his most famous books is where is it? Oh, Heart of Darkness.
Oh yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. Okay.
And that was one of the first big books about racism and stuff like that.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, in Africa.
Ah.
Racism
Yeah,
and
some people are
imperialism.
born before their time. Like.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this guy had a little quote about the moon, and it was pretty, I thought it was interesting because the moon is haunting. There's definitely.
Well, I think
anything
the
from
sun and the moon represent like good and bad, potentially masculine versus feminine, which is not meant to be a male-female thing, but it's about the energies. You know, dark and light. You know, it's the dual nature of everything.
Yeah.
And so our mailbag question of the week: when will you guys start filming the podcast? So it's a good question because we've been arguing about that as quite a bit.
Yeah.
The thing about us is we're both 21 years old, we're uni students, we have no money, so
Especially during this time of crisis.
where we
so to
both
speak.
lost our jobs thanks
There's
to this
no-
virus.
yeah.
I mean, I worked at the cruise terminals. Like, what the hell? You know,
Yeah.
is anyone cruising right now because I'm going to lose my job? And we got no welfare either. Because, it's just the way the cookie
we weren't
crumbles.
eligible for it. That's alright.
That's okay.
But
But so, yeah, what
it
I'm
is
trying to
coming.
say
It is
is it's definitely something we really want to do, and we would do it now if we could. We just don't have the money
Or the
to buy
resources.
like the equipment and the
Yeah.
resources, and we want to work out how we can do it. I mean, I know we can rent a studio, but even that costs a bit of money. So it's
Yeah.
just like, it's one of those things. It's like,
The idea that we want to do is that we have a place where we want to film. We just want to get some get it set up first, and then
have a
get
bit of a
equipment.
backdrop,
Yeah.
and then have a camera and mics that are good enough
Have equipment ready to go.
Yeah, because we want to make. I mean, I know just looking at our logo for the whole YouTube video. I mean, obviously this is a background thing, but we'll put this on like Spotify and SoundCloud and
So
stuff.
it's easy for you guys to listen to.
Yeah,
You just have audio,
when
so-
you're on the go, but no, the filming will happen hopefully within a couple of months.
Yeah.
Like it's a priority. We
Yeah.
want to get it done. We just don't have the means as of yet. But
Yeah.
I mean, we can always start filming without a backdrop just to get the ball rolling.
Get our face out there.
Yeah. But till then, yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this week. And we'll see you. Well, we record on Mondays and usually release within a couple of days. So we'll see you on episode 4. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you like our content and comment and like. It just helps us in the algorithm. It takes you like half a second to do. It really helps us. And if we get more subscribers, then we know that it's working and we can do a bit more and we can just make better content. Like I know our content isn't perfect right now, but things like subscribers and likes and comments is what's going to get us to grow and be able to make better content. So
Yeah.
got anything else to say?
No, that's about it.
Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.